What's up, everyone? Welcome in. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're all having a great Tuesday. And we're going to go over the news for the day. I'm so behind on news. There's so much stuff to cover that I was thinking I might do a video game stream, but nope, we got to get through some news. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I have to try and cover it as fast as possible. Okay, I think I'm ready. So yeah, welcome in everyone. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. I know sometimes it takes a while for people to pop in. Actually, I forgot to do an announcement on my Discord. Let me do that right now. We'll go over the news. Just so you know, because I'm pretty proud of myself. I was on a post. There was a debate yesterday about AI, and I went on the post panel for it, and completely destroyed everyone, pro and anti side, because weren't really having a debate. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, maybe not destroy exactly, but I did pretty good. So that was fun. I'm gonna have another one coming up. I'm gonna get the details sorted out, and then I'll announce it. I'm sure it'll get announced as well. But I'll be headlining an upcoming debate. Yeah, we'll figure out the details on that. That was fun. It was really good. If you don't know Sarah, the Raging Tomatoes channel, go check her out. She hosted the debate. It was really good. Yeah. And I just can't after last night. I gotta catch up on work. What's up, One Allergen on Twitch? Good to see you. Henry guy did pay a lot of money to shut me up. I know. I don't know what his problem was. I'm a very likable person. I don't understand why people don't like me. Yeah, it's the Gauntlet channel. That's right. That's right. It's the Gauntlet channel. I'm super likable. And I asked a very legitimate question. I think I have to accept the fact that sometimes my pure intellectual prowess intimidates many, many men and pretty much all women. And all fall before me. So some people, are willing to part with their dollars to shut me up because they're afraid. I've got my coffee. I've got the articles lined up. We're gonna get going here. That's right. My intellectual prowess. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna start with an update to. Oh, let me get this one ready here. Oh man, are you really gonna make me do this website? You're really gonna make me verify I'm not a robot? I guess you are. That's fine. We're gonna start with an update to an article we covered in the past. Louis Vuitton was hacked. We covered this in the past. There were not a lot of details that came out as a result of the Louis Vuitton hack. However, in a recent update, this was a few days ago, they did confirm customer data was stolen. And unfortunately, they did not exactly state what was stolen. They very clearly did state that what wasn't stolen was financial data such as bank details. Okay, so that's good. However, it's not fully confirmed here, but they say that it's possible that people got names, contact details, and purchase history stolen. So this could lead to, phishing attempts and targeted email campaigns and stuff like this. So be careful out there. If you've ever dropped a pretty penny on Louis Vuitton, you're screwed. You're screwed. You're just screwed, all right? You're screwed. So just be careful out there. Okay. Now, what's nice, if there's anybody who's new here, you probably aren't because there's like, I don't know, 10, 15 people watching. Um, I do have the Enlightened Programming website, enlightenedprogramming.com. If you go on there, I have all these articles up. You can access them all. I go and put all of the videos, the live videos, the shorts. I categorize and tag them all, etc. So as I go through these articles, I can literally just pop it in and go, well, we've covered this one. That's part of episode 83. And there we go. So it's it's all there. So when you go to enlightenedprogramming.com, you can send a tip for $10 or more a month. Or if you send in like a super chat on YouTube, which now I'm partnered up, or a few subs or whatever, I'll happily give you access. You can DM me for access and stuff. So it's good. Everything I've covered, literally everything, all searchable, all tagged. You can search for, like, I don't know, Ross really likes to search for health stuff. It's all here. All the information you could possibly want, scientific articles, everything. All right. So let me pull up the next one then. The UK, unfortunately, can't catch a break. Doesn't matter if you're the Queen of England or the King of England. Cyber attacks are coming for you. They don't care about your royalty. Code doesn't care about your royalty. All right. Hey, what's up here? Don't have to worry about that one. Don't have to worry about the Louis Vuitton one. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So we're going to pull this one up. Let me pull it up here. If you have been watching for a while, a few weeks ago, the UK suffered a series of cyber attacks on a number of retail outlets, Harrods, Marks and Spencer, and Co-op as well as a few others related, tangential. And I keep talking about this all the time because it just never seems to end. The king cannot seem to get a handle on his own retail stores. It's quite embarrassing for a civilized society. Okay, I did that really, really poorly. That was a terrible English accent. Shut up, bruv. Okay, Marks and Spencer hackers hit U.S. retailer Belk. So another one. Now another one falls. The popular U.S. department store chain has allegedly been targeted by the Dragon Force hacker group. We've heard about this group before because they're the ones who struck Marks and Spencer, for example. So now they've hit Belk. They claim they've obtained over 156 gigs of company data, ranging from backups to employee profiles. The data seems legit because usually what these guys do, like you've seen before on these streams, they drop a sample of the data, and there is some sampling of the data here. So look, bros, what's up, Abe on YouTube? What's up, Ross on Twitch? Look, if you're a coupon clipper, if you like those sweet, sweet deals, those sweet, sweet savings, go check out this drop because this hack includes all available coupons for Belk. All available store coupons, employee and registered customer data such as names, dates of birth, addresses, phone numbers, email addresses, and customer orders, including purchased items. And it was taken from their mobile app infrastructure. So they didn't even have to get into like a central server. It's all mobile app stuff. So at this point now, people can use this data to create all kinds of very targeted, again, phishing campaigns, emails that seem legitimate, websites, advertisements, all kinds of stuff that are sent to you because they know things like your purchase history. So you can have a look at the data here. If we zoom in, you've got first name, last name, dates of birth. Man, imagine being born in 1949. Bro, you've seen some stuff. You've seen some stuff, I'm just saying, you've seen a few things. There's phone numbers here, mobile phone numbers, addresses, country, state, all that stuff. So it's all here. This is pretty a pretty good data drop for someone who wants to use this for nefarious purposes. So be careful out there, please. Now, what is Belk? I thought this was interesting because Harrods is along the same lines. Harrods has a long history of being a retail store. Belk was established in 1888. It's among the oldest department store chains in the U.S. This is like the Canadian Hudson's Bay Company, where Hudson's Bay started by riding around on mooses, on meese, which is the plural version of moose, and selling overpriced maple syrup to the Americans. And that's how Hudson's Bay was formed. That's the history of Hudson. We learned that in our igloo schools up here. Okay, so there's that article. So I think I have another one, another UK one. Let me just mark that this one is done here. Part of episode 83. And all right, so we'll go back, do this properly. I'm pretty sure I have another UK one. Let me just check. I could have. Maybe I don't. Maybe that's the only one. Maybe the UK gets just a little bit of a break. I'm sure in the next 12 hours, another UK article about some crazy cyber attack. But it's just a matter of time before the King's information gets leaked. It's just a matter of time at this point. One Allergen on Twitch says Canadian version of the East Indian Company looters, but with more lipstick and antlers. More lipstick and antlers. Okay. Let's talk about AI for a little bit. There are some very interesting AI articles that I want to go over. For example, elderly couple travels for hours just to find tourist attraction was AI generated. Oh, man. Man, this stuff just gets... So what happened here? Well, I guess you can guess from the article what happened here, right? An elderly couple in Malaysia traveled 300 kilometers or 186 miles to visit a tourist attraction that they later found does not exist. So, they traveled from Kuala Lumpur to Perak to visit a cable car they'd seen in an online video. Upon arrival, the elderly couple excitedly asked hotel staff if they'd ridden the cable car. The hotel staff was reportedly very confused and asked the couple if they were joking. The couple then revealed that they had traveled hundreds of kilometers to visit the attraction they'd seen online. The video depicts a fake reporter from TV Rakyat, a popular Malaysian TV channel, interviewing tourists and people visiting the attraction. While convincing to the untrained eye, some clues suggest that the video isn't genuine, probably because Will Smith was eating spaghetti in the background or The Rock's face was continually diminishing as the AI continually tried to generate it. But the elderly couple didn't know any better, and once they showed the video to the hotel worker, even the employee was shocked to learn that it was made using AI. The elderly woman was so enraged, bros, I can't make this up. You gotta read this. The elderly woman was so enraged that she said she was planning to sue the reporter in the video. Yeah. Until the hotel employee had to remind her that the reporter wasn't real. So there you go. You just can't make this stuff up. It's crazy. But there is something to be said about the fact that there is a non-zero amount of people who are going to be duped by this kind of stuff. And what could you possibly get people to believe? Because you leverage on the fact that people generally have what would you say? It's like high trust, I guess, where there's like too much trust in what they're seeing. And so this one was kind of, a little bit harmless. I mean, I'm sure they enjoyed their time there, even if they didn't see the cable car, but still, come on. Um, okay. Up next, let me see here. I've got this one. Let's cover this guy. Pop it up. All right. What you're seeing before your very eyes is a refugee from a war torn country. Hits right in the heart, doesn't it? At least she looks healthy here. It looks like she made it out and she's happy and healthy and things turned out okay for her. That's fantastic. And then you hear the record scratch. In the movies when you hear the record scratch where everything comes to a halt. Oh, this is AI generated. A United Nations Research Institute created an AI refugee avatar. So they've created two AI powered avatars designed to teach people about refugee issues. And that's it. That's the article. That's all. That's it. It's just a way for people to, like, I guess, interact with this avatar and talk to them. And the avatar is supposed to, like, talk about some pretend refugee scenario that I don't know, and some feelings that it doesn't have. And I don't know, man. It's sure, sure. Let's go with that. I don't know. I'm glad we got that out of the way because I think we're going to be seeing more of that too. I think you're going to be seeing lots more AI generated avatars of people who come from like intersectional, diverse backgrounds, whatever, and they give their story. I mean, we've already covered this honestly in some of the earlier streams. In the earlier episodes, we covered some articles where people were literally creating avatars of a deceased loved ones who were 404'd, and they were presenting these avatars in court in front of judges in order to make like what would be considered witness testimony. That's what they were hoping. It's like witness testimony from the now deceased victim, that there's somebody who's like in court facing trial for causing the 404ing of someone. Like, you're going to see this a lot more where these avatars get generated. Guys, these things don't feel. These things don't understand what they're talking about. They're not real representatives of any real thing. It's crazy. It's just crazy. One allergy, yeah. VFUG says, "Laugh." What's up, Laugh? Good to see you, man. Hey, Nix on YouTube. Good to see you. UN was low on refugees that week. None could be found in Europe anywhere. If everyone in Europe is a refugee, then no one in Europe is a refugee, right? That's right. Isn't that right? Isn't that the logical entailment? Oh man. Okay. Let's go with. We're gonna get him coming here from YouTube. Close the border. Yeah, we need a digital Chinese Great Wall for the virtual refugees. We can't let them come in and overtake. We're gonna be real humans are gonna become a minority group online. We need China to build the Great Wall. We need it, bros. Oh man. Oh man. I'm Frank and you 404ing me really, really put me out. You suck. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. I gotta too tempted to start a channel now. It's crazy. Okay, let's go over a few other ones. So I had this one. Now, this one goes into the territory of maybe there are some good use cases of AI, and I've covered them before. I've covered a few before. They're hard to find. They're few and far between. I could not get access to the scientific article that backed this and a related news article from, I believe it's The Guardian. Actually, I don't have to guess. I have it all on enlightenedprogramming.com. Okay, maybe I didn't write the that one down. But anyways, there is a scientific article. I can't get access to it. It's behind like an access wall. So I don't know the methodology behind this one and how exactly they implemented the robot and the AI and all of that stuff. However, there are some details that are included here. And I will say this, if the claims of the article, and the reason why I don't trust the article, and I want to get to the source, which is the scientific study, is because I don't trust the article to make a good summation of what the scientific study actually did. I'd like to read the source. I can't do that. It costs money. You guys don't pay me enough, all right? You guys don't pay me enough. Look at that number. That's been out. That's been at this number for like this, I don't know how many days, right? Just kidding. Okay. So let's just take it for granted. We'll take it at face value that these guys are not hyperbolizing the the outcome of the study. What they did, this is kind of okay, warning, okay, kind of gross warning. I'm not even sure I can pop that up actually. I'm going to skip it. Because they used pigs. And what they did was they used an AI guided robot to do gallbladder operations. It's called cholecystectomy, I believe. Cholecystectomy. Cholecystectomy. Thank you, my beautiful wife, who is listening to me in the background. Yeah, that cholecystectomy. So they had this robot, and they trained it on a bunch of videos that human doctors performed when they did the gallbladder surgery on dead pigs. And apparently they got a 100% success rate on 8 surgeries, I believe, which and the total of 17 tasks over the 8 surgeries, each task lasting minutes. I'm going to skip down. I'm going to switch the camera because I just don't know about terms of service and whatnot about showing some of this, even though it's just pig stuff. Like it's not, it could be considered like gore, I suppose. So I'm going to be super careful. I'm going to skip down. So although the robots were a bit slower, they managed to map out shorter trajectories between tasks. They also consistently corrected mistakes as they went along, adapted to anatomical variations, and requested various tools. The machine learning architecture is similar to the stuff that ChatGPT and Google Gemini use it. So they could interact with the doctors who were watching it perform these automated tasks. So in some cases, the doctors, I believe, did have a way to talk to it. But I believe it turned out that the 100% success rate comes from full autonomy. And you have to remember that these are pigs. How long before this gets out to human surgeries? It's even this article admits that it could be decades away because this stuff takes a lot of time before you can put it in front of a human. And you also have to remember that even by the nature of this article, and I believe The Guardian, the task that it didn't do the full surgery. It did portions of it. That's the important part, right? So it did portions of the surgery, particular tasks. And it would take portions of the surgery and find faster ways to get from point A to point B as it accomplished the task, faster than a human would. So could it be an assistive benefit? Yeah, I could see this based on this article and not being able to have access to the scientific background. It could be assistive. I could see a use case for this where you could have a robot counterpart do particular portions of tasks. And I will say that if you think about it long term, like let's say that all of this is true, you read the scientific article and I was like, holy crap, yeah, it really does all of this stuff. It's fantastic. You have to think about there are some surgeries that might benefit from this. Some surgeries take a really long time to do, and they can be very stressful, and the conditions are very well, I guess stressful is the right word. And it might be beneficial to a surgeon to have an assistive robot that the surgeon knows it can count on to do small portions of the overall surgery, so that the surgeon can have like a break, or like step back and have a look at what's going on, maybe being a bit more proactive instead of reactive. I'm trying to steel man, the best case scenario here. Unfortunately, I can't really make those claims because I can't read the primary source. I'm going to do my best to get access to the scientific study and actually read it, break it down, and see what really went on. I'm simply going by this article. And again, as we've seen before, you can't really trust the articles that cover the science all the time, right? They can make some claims that aren't really true. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I did want to bring it up that this is possibly a good thing. Okay, just to be fair. Okay. Hang on. What's chat talking about? Let me mark it as part of the episode here. And then what is chat talking about? Am I bad to picture the AI? Yeah. Just using voice commands. That's right, laugh. Chat, please tip. I did. It didn't hurt a bit. That's right, Allergen. You did tip. Thanks, man. I don't see the advantages. Cover gaps in surgeon ability to man. See, yeah, that's so. But I'm trying to be fair, right? Laugh. Like, if the article is appropriately covering the outcomes of the scientific study, you could make a case that if you narrow its usage, if you have like a robotic hand that can perform really small portions of a much bigger surgery that's like, intense, stressful, and some of these surgeons too work long hours, and they're overworked and understaffed. Like, there is a possibility that this could be assistive. So I'm trying to be fair, but again, I need to try and get access to the study, because I find articles like this often take like mathematical studies, programming studies, scientific studies, and we've gone over it. Some of these articles are also AI generated, by the way, right? And they'll make claims that aren't actually in the study. That I'm just saying, right? Com.b says, humans can barely get licenses to practice medicine, and they can get revoked even if patients are happy. But letting ChatGPT do surgery is fine, apparently. It's risky. Okay, but com.b, I agree with you. I'm trying my best to be fair. If this thing has a 100% success rate on very small tasks, it's not quite the same thing as it does the whole surgery, right? You have to admit that there's a very, very big distinction in the minutia. It's a minor subset of an entire surgery, and it's got a 100% success rate on that minor set. That doesn't, at face value, that doesn't sound so bad to me. And then, trust in technology over a highly skilled person. That is another question, is because I don't have access to the source study. I don't actually know how much the robot was interacted with by doctors who watched it perform. So did it have a 100% success rate? Because there were literally, there was an insinuation in the article that doctors were giving it voice commands. I don't know, because I can't read the source article, right? The source study. So I got to get access to the source in order to know this stuff, because that would make a difference. Like, why did it get a 100% success rate? Oh, because a doctor told it what to do. Well, okay. It'll just become shut up, F and Epic on YouTube. Degenerate scumbag. Whoa, Nuxus, $7.99 Australian dollars super chat on YouTube. Thanks, man. We all know Australia isn't real, so that money doesn't count for anything. Okay, I'm sorry, Nuke, but your money doesn't count. It's not real money. Thank you. I appreciate Nuke. So I'll have to update the tip because it doesn't update. I don't know why. Streamlabs is whatever. So we're now at like, we'll even it out. We'll go 170. You know what? We'll go $180. How about that, Nuke says? I'll assume that Australian money is worth more than it actually is, and we'll go up to $180. I'll be generous to you. Thanks, Nuke on YouTube. I appreciate it, man. I mean, if you had to go under tomorrow, would you prefer a person or an AI robot? Tomorrow? No, I'd prefer a person. But to be fair, Laugh, the article did say that when it comes to human uh what was it? When it comes to using this on human surgeries, we're decades away. Even if this study is completely true based on the article alone. I'm just trying to be fair here, right? Just trying to be fair. You'll have it back then. Nuke's gonna refund, damn it. For a minute there, I thought I could buy a hot meal for my kid today, but Nuke's gonna refund it, and then my card's gonna go insufficient funds because he refunded it because I made fun of Australia. Thanks, Nuke. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for the super chat. Okay, let's keep going then. We have this one. This one is a good one. Hang on, I gotta pull this up. Go like this. All right. Chinese TV uses AI to translate broadcasts into sign language. It's not going well. All right, okay, why? Deaf professor who worked on one product says developers won't listen to feedback about their products or their tech bro ways. Gentlemen and lady, because Pure is here. Gentlemen and Pure. This is the ultimate slap in the face to all the tech bros in so many ways. This Chinese deaf professor smacks straight in the face, just flat palm smack straight in the face, all the tech bros, to the point where generational children of these tech bros will be crying. We have a Chinese deaf professor throwing hard shade on tech bros. Programmers who won't listen to criticism. Who'd have thought? Let's read this article. It's really, really good. All right, here we go. Yeah, I've been programming for 35 years, son. It's not kiddo. Laugh, it's not kiddo. It's son. That guy yesterday literally called me son. He's not my dad, and my dad could beat him up. I know. Okay. My dad could beat him up, and he's not my dad. Okay, let me zoom in. Okay, here we go. I think this is better. China's efforts to employ AI as a means of improving access to media for its deaf population aren't going well, according to a professor at Beijing Normal University's Faculty of Education. Writing in an outlet called Sixth Tone, Professor, I'm not going to pronounce this correctly, I'm going to try, Zheng Xuan, I don't know, notes that China is home to 20.5 million people with hearing disabilities, and that the nation's government has encouraged use of avatars and virtual presenters to provide real-time translation of some television programs. Those efforts started at the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympic Games, which Zheng studied to assess the quality of the sign language translations and came away unimpressed. We transcribed and back-translated the sign language created by the avatars, then compared the results with the original audio, finding that a significant amount of key information was lost or distorted in the AI-generated version. Deaf people struggle to understand the AI-generated sign language. That's the main takeaway. On closer inspection, the movements of the avatars differed considerably from everyday sign language in terms of hand shape, position, direction, and movement, she wrote. Other issues were even more prominent. The avatars' facial expressions and body language were off, and their mouth movements were distorted. In interviews, viewers reported they generally couldn't understand the avatars' movements and noted that they seemed to have a limited vocabulary while struggling to handle words with multiple meanings. So she thinks that the AIs did a poor job because there are a lot of different ways to express certain types of statements in particular, even within dialects of Chinese languages. There's different ways to say a lot of different things or the same thing. So what you have is words that can't be found for the for the meanings expressed by the sign language when you compare the two. So what you typically have to do is a mixture of the sign language used sometimes to literally give you a sense of the pronunciation of the word, which you then tie contextually into all the other words and you get the meaning of things. Or sometimes it's a contextual sign. So there's a very big distinction when you're doing sign language with Chinese language and even within dialects, right? So when you have an avatar that doesn't understand that has to take into account that sign language is not a strict, like, here's just the sign of the word and away you go. There's body language, there's your facial expressions, a lot of the stuff that you have to be careful of when you're talking in Chinese, in any Chinese language, is the what's it called? I think it's in here. I'm looking for a word. Yeah, the oral auditory. It's the sounds. That's what I'm trying to say. Sounds you can even be saying the same word. It sounds to us Westerners, it sounds the same, but there's different tones and pitch and all of that, right? So it's the complexity of the language itself makes it a really difficult thing for an AI to understand how to translate that into sign. Whoever just did the sub or whatever, I appreciate that. I'll get to you in a second, okay? I do appreciate it. So this is the problem, and this Chinese deaf professor states all of these problems in the article very, very well, in my personal opinion. The nuances are hard to get right. The sign language just can't cover all the cases, and so you have an AI avatar trying to translate on demand. It's listening in on people who are talking in Chinese, trying to discern the sounds, the tone, the context, the visuals, the body language, and then it gets it wrong in so many different ways. So it's not only the input that these AI avatars receive that they fail to get correctly, it's also the related output. So even if they do get something correctly, can they sign it correctly, right? Now, here's where the this professor slaps tech bros in the face, all right? Okay. She worked as a consultant for a team working on translation avatars and found them poorly equipped for the task. They seemed to underestimate the difficulty involved, overestimated the power of tech to solve problems. Okay? Let's just start there. They underestimated the difficulty involved. Oh, gee. They overestimated the power of tech to solve problems, just like all the AI cultists do right now, and lacked the necessary experience, resources, and ability to judge the quality of work done by third-party companies. Holy crap. Everything we talk about on these streams, everything, literally everything, each and every point. By the time I joined the project, these shortcomings had already become apparent. Although the development team welcomed my participation, I felt that this respect was more for my technical knowledge as a university professor rather than my identity as a deaf person. When she pointed out the product wouldn't satisfy users, her feedback was not fully embraced, as the developer seemed unable to fully empathize with my frustrations. She feels there are fundamental issues with the way tech approaches the problem of sign language translation. Get this, I'm going to zoom this in. I'm going to shove this right inside your eyeballs. Right in your eyeballs. I want this to be deep inside your cranium. Tech companies crap, I said that wrong. Tech companies are used to first launching a version that has a lot of bugs, then optimizing it through a large amount of user feedback. Huh. You don't say. The products she's seen were so bad, she fears they harmed the deaf community's faith in technological solutions. Huh. You don't say. That's not to mention the fact that some companies mislead users by promoting their products using real humans rather than avatars, and then release an immature generative AI version. Huh. You don't say. Techno optimists may believe that these flaws will all be solved with time, but we shouldn't ignore the irreversible ethical harm. If the real needs of deaf users are not responded to, they'll feel that they're being treated as guinea pigs. Huh. Where else have we seen this exact kind of thinking? Huh. All of it. And you have to remember that this person whose name I cannot pronounce properly, and I feel really bad that I can't, but she is not in tech. She is a university professor whose specialty lies in sign language, essentially, like linguistics around people who are deaf, because she herself is also deaf. And she spent an unknown amount of time, but based, if we take her statements at face value, she walked into problems and recognized them immediately. And she makes some really good points about the state of the tech industry, which are exactly the points I've been making throughout 1.5 years of streaming. Ship it, bro mentality, good enough mentality. Who cares about the quality? We'll fix it later. Kick the can down the road, make the money, someone else's problem. It doesn't matter about security, overselling, and under providing. And then what harm does it cause to you as a consumer? All the cybersecurity issues I go over, that's why I go over them, because while companies are going, well, what are we going to do? Spend time and money on fixing your security issues? Yeah. The answer is yes. That's exactly what you do. Because if you don't, you cause irreversible ethical harm. And the AI cult is no different. Like I've said, it's the last 10 or 20 years of the tech industry wrapped up in a nice little package called AI. And they do exactly the same thing. They operate in exactly the same way. They're the biggest techno optimists on the planet, the AI cult. And so what they do is they go, well, these problems will be fixed. They have such a huge, what did she say? They're so optimistic about the like tech will solve it. Don't worry about it. We're going to solve it with tech. It'll solve all of these problems. And they just go and ship it without thinking about the consequences of their actions. So I really wanted to bring this article out because I thought it went really well with yesterday's debate and with all the stuff, honestly, that we've been talking about here for 1.5 years. All the Enlightened programming streams, all the daily tech news streams, all the cybersecurity articles, all the times I've talked to people out there who are watching right now, I bet, who are consumers, they're not programmers, and I keep telling you that tech doesn't have to be this way. I think consumers have been desensitized for exactly these reasons. They think that it can be, that this is as good as it gets. The crappy software, the bugs, the crashing, the lag, crappy video games, ads, subscriptions, woke ideology, leftist ideology, even some right-wing ideology. It's just the way it is. No, you're just desensitized to it. There's another super chat for $5 US, which is real dollars. It's American dollars. So those are freedom dollars. Thanks, F and Epic. I appreciate the freedom bucks. I appreciate the 5 freedom bucks. So I'll have to update the thing. We're at like 185 now. Thank you, F and Epic. Thanks for the super chat. I do appreciate that. The financial stuff really does help. It helps pay the bills. And if there's enough of it, I'll try and redirect some of it to purchasing. Like, I really want to get that science study on the gallbladder stuff. So I thank you. I really appreciate it. Let me catch up on chat for a second. What year did the master and slave drives change? I want to say that was 2022, Nuke. It's a really easy one to find. And if you can find it for oh crap, maybe not for free. I did go over it on one of my Enlightened programming streams. If you go look at my Enlightened programming playlist, you might be able to find it there. I also have it on my enlightenedprogramming.com website. If you really need it, just DM me on Discord or something. I'll track it down for you. But I'm pretty sure it was 2022, Nuke. One allergen. That MC guy was a piece of work. You youngsters ain't nothing and have a book. Yeah. Yeah. The hubris was off the charts. Yeah. And that guy's still trash talking me today. He went on the video and was posting. He calls me the basement comic book shop guy, something like that. Um, he was really triggered by that. I really triggered him. But man, he really did have an appeal to authority. He kind of outed himself as a weak ass programmer because he uses AI to even come up with prompts for the prompt and for his code. So, if you're using AI to generate code, what kind of a programmer are you? Then we had that guy Vibe come on after, and he pretended he said he was programming even longer, and then and that he was in the AI space. And so he knows a lot about AI. And then he just proceeded to say a bunch of stuff that didn't matter. Like he didn't make any arguments. He just said things. These are the kind of programmers who've been around for apparently decades. Apparently, since I've been a spermazoid in my dad's ball sack, they were programming probably the stupidest code you've probably ever seen based on their performance yesterday. And their continuing performances, they continue to get triggered by me today. And these are the kind of guys who you trust with your code. This is why we are where we are. Um, Ship it, bro. I've been shipping it since before you were born, son. Techno Optimist is a good one. I think I'm going to use that. AI Simp. I like that one too. I like AI simping. Many customers won't buy V1 until bug fix 1.0.1 comes out. Yeah, the article is good. Yeah, hey Ghost, good to see you, man. Fake it till you make it. That's a sales tactic, right? And look, there's a portion of it that you have to understand is legitimate. What do I mean by that? If you had a CEO of a company that you had a huge investment in, would you want your CEO to go out and trash talk the nature of the company? So like I just want you to imagine like Sam Altman from OpenAI going out and saying things like, I think LLMs have kind of hit a wall. We spent a lot of time and money into this, and I don't think this is a good path moving forward. I think we were too early, and it hasn't played out the way we hoped. Is that the kind of CEO you want? Or do you want a CEO who's going to go out there and say, don't worry, AI, especially LLMs, are going to do fantastic things. You guys just have to keep purchasing our $200 subscription plan. But look at our benchmarks. Our benchmarks are through the roof. We're making gains in stride all the time. That's the kind of CEO you want, and those are the kind of salespeople you want. So if you just accept the fact that it is part of the game, and that's who you want in your corner, if you're going to have people like executives and salespeople, and you have an investment in the company, it starts to make sense. You have to remove yourself, though, for us. You have to remove yourself from that viewpoint and go, well, they're trying to sell me something, then, right? And so do you see where the disconnect then becomes, right? Once you understand that, then you can understand why people say what they do. And so that guy Vibe yesterday, for example, was just a salesman. Let me see. Man, chat. Back by Slimy Oil, yeah. Yeah, Nuke, let me know if you need help finding that triggered Hornet near the end. Yeah, he was, I don't know, that whatever. Programming for 45 years, maybe on ham radio. Thanks, One Allergen. Yeah. Yeah, as a customer, right. Because, yes, right. Ghost. That's right. Because when you do, see you in Matter Nation Thursday. Don't let Reinsberg. I'll do my best, Nuke. Thanks. Um, when you look at it from the perspective of what do you expect Sam Altman to say, as an example, right? Like, of course, he's not going to undersell. He's going to oversell. A salesperson, if you call up a salesperson at OpenAI, let's just say, or at any company, of course they're going to oversell you. That's their job. And if you were paying them to be a salesperson, that's what you would want them to do. Right? So it's an understandable position, but if you can understand that, then you can understand what's actually going on, which is that people are just selling you a bunch of crap. And it's the reason why it's worse now is exactly because of articles like this one that we just read. It's worse because the tech industry has leaned so much into all these stupid decisions, including overselling as part of it. And now they're furiously trying to cover their tracks by having better hardware cover over the fact that they don't know how to write good software to begin with, and that they need to squeeze every dollar out of you because consumers don't like the dollars they're spending in relation to what they're getting out of those dollars from the entire tech industry, because everything's oversold and underperforming and programmers don't know what they're doing. She said it herself right here. They don't know what they're doing. They don't understand the use of like their third party companies that they're. She says it right here. It's right here. Anyway, I thought it was a great article to go over that, and it ties in with a lot of the stuff we're talking about. Okay, let's do one or two more. Okay, I want to go over this McDonald's one. This is great. So I'll do this properly. Here, actually, let me switch over like this, and we'll go like this. So, I'm not loving it. Why? Why am I not loving it, McDonald's? You guys ready for this? You guys are not going to believe what happened. I'm telling you, all the super chats, by the way, thank you again. I appreciate it. I bring you the good stuff, okay? I bring you some really good articles. You have to admit, I bring you the good stuff. And this is not going, this is good. All right. McDonald's hiring platform exposes 64 million job applications. Now, at first you might go, wow, that's a lot of job applications. But that's not really that bad, Spiro. Why is this a banger article? What the hell are you talking about, Spiro? Patience, my young Padawan. Let's continue. McHire, McDonald's hiring chatbot platform, was protected by a default password of 123456. I just want to get this into your craniums too, directly through eyeball injection. The admin panel of the McHire platform had a default password of 123456. Oh God, I can't, bros. I can't. So, if you knew that this was the default password, all right, you could get into the admin side. You could see all the chat interactions that ever took place, all the job applications that were ever sent to McDonald's. And the default credentials of 123456, 123456 was enough to get you in here. Now, McDonald's has an AI hiring chatbot called Olivia. And there were some Reddit comments that were pointing to this chatbot because the chatbot was giving some nonsensical answers as back and forth during the hiring process, I suppose. So what was happening is people were submitting their job applications, and then this AI chatbot named Olivia would talk to you about your job application. And so McDonald's has this AI chatbot, which is supposed to help with the, hiring onboarding process. And so then they dug into it. They're like, well, why is it giving nonsensical answers? And they stumbled across the administrative website through the interaction with this chatbot. And they just thought, you know what? Let's just drop in 123456, 123456. Let's just see what happens. And Bob is your uncle. We could see all the employees of the restaurant were simply employees of Paradox.ai, the company behind McHire. And there was a numerical ID for each applicant. You could get personally identifiable information, name, email address, phone number, regular address, candidacy state, every state change form input the candidate had submitted, shifts they could work, auth token to log into the consumer AI that users would use, leaking their raw chat messages, presumably other information, yada, yada, yada. There you go. There you go. There you go. Golden Lion on Twitch. I don't stream. I guess I stream full time. I try and do 5 days a week. Sometimes 6 or 7. I try and do some video game C code, vanilla HTML stuff on the weekends. I'm gonna start doing that more on the weekdays too, and less of the daily tech news stream. Welcome in, first timer. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, so I think this was worthy of bringing up. It was a banger article. Part of 83. Let me just pop that in. Um, so let me catch up on chat here. Yikes! Not loving it. Now the world will see me begging. Imagine all the people swearing at it in the logs along with their email. Yeah. Hey, Chronix, how you doing? It's mind-boggling how these massive platforms are locked with metaphorical paper clips. It's so true. 64 million applicants though. That's like 80% of the population here. Yeah, you have to imagine, laugh, that because McDonald's operates in so many different countries, this is a platform like McHire would necessarily include global job applications. So think about what that means, right? That's a lot of people. That's a ton of people. Yeah. Yeah. Think about how many people over the course of even just a few years would try and find a job at McDonald's. It's it's an easy entryway. Well, it's an easier entryway. Depends on where you're from and your background and managers and stuff like that. But so, for example, I know. Can I say this? Um, no, I can't say it. So I know. Okay, how about this? I know if a few years ago there was an executive I talked to. He was a friend of mine. This is going back probably 10 years even, and he said that he he often respects resumes that have McDonald's as part of their work history, because if you actually go work at McDonald's, the amount of work that goes into even just being like the guy who does the fries, there's actually a lot of rigor behind it. There's a reason why McDonald's is McDonald's and why it's global and why it is a global chain. Part of that reason, right? So there's a reason generally, and then there's sub reasons, right? And part of that reason is because a lot of the individual chains do actually pride themselves in good, rigorous, hard work and a very structured format for how they cook their food, maintain their food, etc. And so executives realize that, and I know some that it's. I remember this one executive. How about that? But I recall two or three others telling me the same. They respect people who have worked at McDonald's. If you look at it kind of like that way, and then you also imagine that in some countries, having a job at McDonald's will be a lot easier for some people to get than having a job at other places that maybe pay more. And it could also be an opener to, well, it's something that I can put on my resume. I worked at McDonald's for 6 months to a year. I have some work history, etc. Then you can start to make a pretty reasonable case for a large number of people across the world in all the areas that McDonald's operates in who have submitted job applications over the last 2 to 5 years, and you could come up with a number that might be upwards of 64 million. Does that mean that they all got a job? No, those are applicants, right? I do also wonder how many of these job applications are like AI generated, like they're just automated. I don't know that, right? But anyways, who knows? Who knows for real? But I just don't see it as an unreasonable number, I guess, or out of the realm of possibility. Okay, I'm just a little bit over an hour, but should we do one more? Should we do one more? Let me see if I have one more good one. Um, I could do that one. That one's not bad. Uh, okay, I think I have one. I think I have one. We'll do one more and then we'll call it. Let me go back. Let me pull up this one. Do YouTube banning AI content? Yeah. No, not this. Let me pull it up. I got to pull it up properly here. I don't want to give it away too quickly. Okay, let's do this. So, Microsoft recently laid off 9,000 employees. I believe we covered that. I could be wrong. I feel like we did cover this. They recently laid off 9,000 employees. And the Xbox executive producer had a very distasteful thing to say, which he subsequently took down, by the way. I will credit him with that. He took it down, realizing it was in poor taste. But it really points to something that I've been talking about for a long time. We have. It's not just me. So, as a way for these 9,000 employees to get a handle on the emotional fallout from having been laid off, this Xbox executive says, don't worry. These are really challenging times. And if you're navigating a layoff or even quietly preparing for one, you're not alone and you don't have to go it alone. I know these types of tools engender strong feelings in people, but I'd be remiss in not trying to offer the best advice I can under the circumstances. I've been experimenting with ways to use LLM AI tools like ChatGPT or Copilot to help reduce the emotional and cognitive load that comes with job loss. Here are some prompt ideas and use cases that might help if you're feeling overwhelmed. Career planning prompts. Act as a career coach. I've been laid off from a role in the game industry. Help me build a 30-day plan to regroup, research new roles, and start applying without burning out. What kind of game industry jobs could I pivot to with the experience and whatever I had? Resume and LinkedIn. You can see where this goes, right? That's right. Catch you tomorrow. 1 hour, Jen. Thanks for being here. That's right. So this Xbox executive goes, hey, are you feeling sad? You're a little sad. You got laid off. Oh, you're just a little sad because Microsoft is using AI more and more, and they're making so much money off of using AI more and more that they laid you off. Oh, you're just a little bit sad. Go use AI. It'll make you feel better. And now for $200 a month, I think it's $200 a month. You can actually go to Super Grok, and you can get Elon's digital waifu. So, if you're feeling lonely, look, do you have a wife and maybe a few kids, and you got laid off from Xbox, and now you can't pay the bills, and your wife leaves you with the kids, and you're all alone at home, and you've got like the empty nest syndrome because you got laid off by Microsoft because they're using AI to replace workers. Don't worry about it, bro. For $200 a month, you can just replace your ex-wife with an online waifu. And if you just triple that, if you just go $600 a month, you can get a wife and two kids. Easy. And then you have emotional support. This is a completely unhinged answer to the entire thing. This is so unhinged. To his credit, he took it down. He realized I think he literally said it was in poor taste. I shouldn't have said that. That's great. But it does point to something. There are people like this guy who actually think a legitimate use case for these AI systems is therapeutic. And Just yesterday, or was it the day before? I believe yesterday, we went over AI therapy stuff. Scientists, I think we went over a science article, maybe not, but we went over a few articles, and I have a few lined up that show the overwhelming negative consequences of using AI for therapeutic purposes. We've covered it. We've covered several already, but people think that this is a legitimate use case for AI. So first you lose your job to AI because Microsoft is hallucinating itself into thinking that AI is going to replace all of these workers properly. And then second of all, Microsoft tells you, don't worry, bro, just go get therapy from AI. It's so dumb. It's yeah. Um so just related to that, I just want you I guess since I talked about it, I might as well just cover this real quick too. If we look at this one, okay, just so that you know that I'm not making stuff up. Microsoft touts $500 million in AI savings while slashing jobs. This is this is what I mean. They terminated thousands of personnel, 9,000 people, but they apparently saved more than $500 million last year in call centers alone with AI, right? So this is what I mean is that it's so warped. They believe their own idiocy, stupidity, whatever you want to call it. Just came across this Gizmodo article. Billionaires convince themselves AI chatbots are close to making new scientific discoveries. I'm doing the equivalent of vibe coding, except it's vibe physics. Chronix, can you drop the article link? I'll cover it. I'll cover it. Chronix, drop the article link. You're safe to do so. You get a pass. If you have the article link, please drop it. I will absolutely cover that. It is out of control. Everything is a legitimate use case for AI, according to cultists and great CEOs. I wonder how many people will really buy into that. But Ghost, we see how many people buy into that. Well, we get a sense of it, don't we? With streams like this one and articles that I go over all the time. I think tomorrow's daily tech news stream will have to be a bit longer, and I have to cover some purely scientific articles. I'm a bit behind on that. I have many scientific articles that I absolutely need to cover. If I go, if I reset and go, yeah, if you look at it, I've got 71. There's a whole bunch here that I need to cover, and some of it includes a lot of the stuff we talk about, which actually provides like statistics and surveys on a lot of these numbers. Lots of people are buying into this stuff. So all the stuff that I go over it's very disconcerting. Do we know exact numbers? No, we don't. But it's a lot. It's a lot of people. Thanks for dropping the link, Chronix. I appreciate it. Let me pop this one open. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna read it. I pre-read all the articles and I try and come up with like a theme and stuff. So I'll pre-read it, but yeah, yeah, no, I think this is gonna be a good one. Okay, I'll cover it, Chronix. Thank you, man. Yeah, I'll read it and make sure I tie it into some other stuff and make it thematic and somewhat entertaining. I hope. Yeah. Okay, well, that's it. I try and stick to about an hour. I'm at an hour and 10 minutes, so that'll be good enough for the stream. Um, I I have to. I want to do another video game stream. I'll do one at some point this week, and I don't know when exactly, but tomorrow I'll be back again for the Daily Tech News. Worst case scenario, if you don't see me later tonight or anything like that, I'm back on tomorrow at the usual time. I'll do I'll do the science articles. It's going to be a full scientific article stream. We got to get through some of the science articles. Ah, Woos, I'm sorry, man. Woos, if you go on the YouTube, um, or if you stick around on Twitch after, you can replay it and just do like two times or whatever. Because who wants to hear my annoying voice at full regular speed, right? Just 2x it. Or you can go on enlightenedprogramming.com and uh, you can get access there to all the stuff I go over. Google banning AI content on YouTube shows the real value of AI. Yeah, Ghost, I have articles on that. I've been, you know how I operate here. I let things sit. Then I like to go back and look at them because more information comes out instead of being reactive to just everything that comes in. There is some information that I'm keeping an eye on with regards to the YouTube anti-AI slop stuff, and I think they're kind of changing their tunes and some of the details on the terms of use, I suppose, is what they would call it. It's showing a different story than the headlines are, so I'm waiting. I'm waiting on that, and I'll cover what YouTube is doing with this like AI. I don't know, restrictions. I guess we'll get into that. I just hope they ban that dang AI voiceover that's on every other video of AI slap. I hate that. I hate that so much. Yeah. Woos, thanks for coming in, man. I'm sorry, I know, but it is what it is. If I do longer streams, the issue is then I have to go back and edit them, and I do the editing all by myself. I barely have enough time to create shorts for YouTube, which I hate. But at least with my shorts, it's not the dopamine slop. I just talk about this stuff, right? So if you're gonna watch a short, it's just like little mini versions of this stuff. Like it might be an entire article or whatever. But that takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to edit the videos and chop them up. It takes a lot of time to update all the content. So, I try not to go too long on these daily tech news ones. The video game streams can go on longer because it's a lot of boring code. But how long do I sit? I don't know, a few hours a day. I have a little thing here it's like a foot exercise thing where you can move your feet as you're sitting. I do that, and I have a sit stand desk. So some days I stand all day. Most days I don't. Some days I stand all day. Some days I do a mixture. Most days I sit. Okay, that's it. I'm out of here. Thanks for popping in, everybody. Thank you. Oh, Pure is asking for the articles. Pure. I completely misunderstood the nature of your question, and I gave you the completely wrong answer to the question. How long do I sit on articles? I sit on them until I feel that they have been adequately, that the information is adequate enough for me to cover. So there's some stuff that I'm still sitting on even now, and it's been 4 weeks, 5 weeks. I can think of a few things. There's stuff about Peter Thiel. There's stuff about Palantir. There's stuff about, I'll drop some names. There's Game B, if you guys don't know what that is. There's a guy named Jordan Hall, I want to say. I'm looking at, there's some Greek guy in tech. There's some history on like women in tech, because there's a lot of stuff that gets talked about there that I want to cover. There's stuff that I sit on for quite a while. It just depends, though. It depends on the nature of the information. Okay, that's it, folks. Peace out. Have a great Tuesday. I will see you tomorrow. Thanks again for all the super chats on the YouTube side. I really appreciate that. The financial support really does help. Feel free to send in a tip. If you're going to send a tip, I would say go on enlightenedprogramming.com, and there's a big text thing there. Send in a tip there, because if you send in $10 or more, I will give you access to the entire website, all of this stuff. You can see all of the content that I've ever done, all of my articles, searchable, all of it. So if you want to tip and help me out, it'll help me to do things like pay for access to that scientific study with the gallbladder stuff that I really, really want to get my hands on. So I do appreciate all the financial support. You guys are awesome. And catch me tomorrow. It's going to be a bit of a more boring one. So I don't know, maybe you want to skip it because it's like scientific. I know those aren't the greatest things, okay? And I'll do my best to get to a video game stream ASAP, because I know people like it when I do that, and we got to get back to that more. There's lots of cool stuff to do there. I will be doing a debate coming up in the next few weeks. I'm getting the details sorted out, and I'll announce that when I get it sorted out. It'll be fun. It'll be a good debate, much like yesterday, about AI. I think I haven't decided yet, so we'll figure that part out. Stay safe, everyone, as per usual. Thanks for all the support. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, repost, reshare, all that stuff. It's free. And if you like the messaging that I'm trying to promote here and trying to make the tech industry better by showing all the flaws and providing some answers into things that we can do better, Please help me out with these stupid algorithms, and it gets me in front of more people, consumers, programmers, etc. Please do all that. It's free stuff. Thanks for being here. Username, I'm here to ask what is AI. Yeah, username on YouTube. Yeah, that was, man, it's crazy nobody could answer that. You had an entire panel. You had 4 people pro and 4, you know, societal harms of AI. None of them could define what AI is, including the people who thought I was their son. How delusional do you have to be to think I'm your son? Dear Lord. Peace out, everyone. By the way, guys, I almost forgot. I apologize. There is a robot here. There is a robot hand that is apparently handwriting a list of people in chat who suck. I don't know where it got this list from, but it's handwriting it for me, so I'm going to read out the names as it writes them out by hand, okay? This robot, this AI-controlled autonomous robot is writing these names out. So username on YouTube, you absolutely suck. Laughly on Twitch, you suck. Pure, today you suck. I'm sorry, Pure, you don't get to skip today. Chronix on Twitch, you suck. Wooz, you just tuned in and you kind of got in late and I feel bad for you. So Wooz, you get a 0.5 suckage rating, okay? 0.5 suckage rating. Ghost Magic, you suck today. One Allergen, you suck. Even though you're gone, you still suck. Golden Line, you're the first time chatter, so you get a pass, right? You get a pass on suckage. Today, you don't suck. Nuke, you did drop some Australian super chat money, but because it's not real, Nuke on YouTube, you suck, okay? Streamlabs, you suck. Yeah, not even Streamlabs gets a pass. Effin' Epic, you suck. Okay, take your Merc and Freedom money out of here. You suck, all right? Who else do we have here? The robot's handwriting. Nix on YouTube, you suck. Abe on YouTube, you suck. I think I got everybody. I'm pretty sure that's everyone. All of you suck. Every one of you suck. Come back tomorrow so you can suffer through scientific articles with me. And then at the end, I can tell you all how much you suck again. Peace out. Thanks for being here.